Hi and welcome. If this is your first time here to my channel, my name is Joan Gamble from An Innovative Life, where I teach you how to innovate your life and live differently. So today I want to talk about how to get what you want faster. Okay, some people call it how to manifest, some people talk about bending time and bending time, space, all that good stuff. But I don't want to get too much into about the woo-woo of it. I just want to let you know that whatever it is, it works. And I'm going to give you an example from my life. And I actually took some notes on here, and my notes are slightly falling down, so that's why you'll see me kind of reach across. But the reason why I took some notes is because I didn't want to miss anything about what I want to share. So I'll give you a story about how I was able to get what I wanted faster. And it wasn't like I was trying to oh, I'm going to get this thing that I really want in my life. No, it was really about just, I knew that there were certain things in my life. I knew how I wanted my life to be and my lifestyle to be. And it happened, okay? So 2 examples that I want to give you is, number 1, the place that I live now, okay? I live in a beautiful modern townhome and townhome apartment, I guess is what I want to say. And number 2 is meeting my most amazing husband, the man that I am married to today. So in my story, let's see, it goes back to about 2020, okay? Long story short, I knew that my life, I was ready for a change up in my life. Long story short, the opportunity to move to Oregon to help in with a local gym here and be the fitness manager in a local gym here. Well, that opportunity came up, okay? Through a friend that I've known for a long time, and we've done the gym business together back in Hawaii. So August 2020, so prior to August 2020, excuse me, that opportunity was being told to me. And I don't know if you remember, but in March 2020, when we had the shutdown in the world, that's when I really thought about, okay, and prayed about, I think this is the time that I start to change, right? So make a move to change where I lived and what I did for a living. So fast forward, I started looking at apartments or places to live should I decide that I was going to make that move. So I remember asking a good friend of mine back in April, May-ish, whenever we were down in that lockdown, I said, can you please keep something in prayer for me? There's an opportunity in Oregon that I am really heavily considering. And I said to this friend, maybe you might want to consider moving and taking an opportunity as well to work in the gym as a personal trainer, a massage therapist, all of that. And so we talked about it. He said, yes, I'll pray for you, keep you in prayer, keep me in prayer as well, if this is something God wants me for me to do as well, to move his life from Hawaii. And we've known each other for a long time in the fitness industry. So, and he's a brother in Christ. Anyway, so in talking about this potential move and opportunity, and in me saying yes, I was looking at apartments. And I found a couple apartments in Oregon that appealed to me and was in kind of a range as far as, okay, if I make this move, what would I be able to afford and what will be near my working place, all that good stuff. And I kept coming back to this particular apartment, right? This particular apartment unit. I loved how it looked. I just loved how it felt. It was modern. It was a new build. And not that other apartments weren't pretty, but just it didn't strike me as this place did. Okay, So I was already taking screenshots of this place in August 2020. I moved in October 2020 to Oregon. Okay. Lived with my friends for a year. Now, shortly after I moved here in October, the plan was I was going to move in with them for a little bit, get my situation going, and then find my own place, meaning again, my looking for my own apartments. And in my mind, I already had this apartment in mind. So 5 weeks after I moved here in October 2020, again, lockdown happened. So lockdown 2.0 happened, and like the world stopped again, right? So it was hard to find places. Anytime something came up for rent, it was immediately like taken up again. So places were hard to rent. I went to look at a lot of places, apartments. I was looking at houses. I was looking at even if people were subleasing a room or something like that, right? There was like literally nothing. So that was October 2020. November was when the shutdown happened again. And then I meet my future husband in late January 2021. So, okay, so life continues. He and I start spending time together. He showed me around some great places to hike in Oregon, and that's how we got to know each other, was really getting into the outdoors. And some of you know the rest of my story there. So that's, late January we met. The gyms opened up again in February. Life continues. And 10 months later, my husband and I got married in November 2021. We never lived together prior. I've always said I am not living with you until we are married. We got married in the latter part of November 2020. And let's see, I think it was 3 days after we got married, we got the keys to our apartment and started to move in together. So from the time that I saw pictures of our place that I live in now to the time we actually moved in, that was a period of 15 months. From the time that I met my husband to us getting married, that was a period of just 10 months, so just shy of a year. Okay. I'm going to rewind the tape because back in August 2020, or even when I was even considering moving to Oregon, I wasn't even thinking about trying to get married, be married, look for a husband, none of that, right? Like I said, I was just having the conversation with one of my good friends called, hey, there's an opportunity in Oregon. You might want to take a look at it, and maybe we might be housemates. Maybe we might be roommates. And so that was a conversation. It had nothing to do with a future husband or relationship at all at the time. So all that to say, that was a huge surprise in my life. Now, I will also share with you that during lockdown 1.0, so between March and May-ish, June-ish of 2020, I remember I had a dream about me getting married on the beach. I didn't see a face. I just saw a very fit person that I was marrying. Again, I didn't see a face. I just knew, and this is a funny detail, okay? I just knew that this man had hair. I know, really weird detail, right? Did not see a face. Just knew that whoever I was going to marry had hair on his head. So obviously he was not going to be a shaven head man. So that's all I knew of that dream. And I share that because it was just a funny detail. And I remember telling one of my best friends, whoever I marry, this man has hair on his head. And we just laughed about it, okay? And I just left it there. I wasn't trying to look for a man with hair that I was going to marry, or every man who had hair on his head that talked to me was like, ooh, is this my future husband? No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just a funny detail, right? So, so fast forward. Yes, my husband has hair on his head. Or he'll say whatever's left on it, but no, he's amazingly handsome. So, yes, that detail was there. So the amazing thing about that dream is, as my husband and I got to know each other better, it was courting and again talking about getting married, he said that one of his dreams was to get married on the beach. And so I said to him, wow, well, I guess it's a good thing you're marrying a girl from Hawaii, because there's a lot of beach in Hawaii. So if we get married in front of family and friends one day, that would be what we would do, because that's what was in his dream. And that, when I say his dream, not like a physical dream that he had a dream about, but that was in his imagination, was to get married on the beach. And interestingly enough, that was the vision that the dream, the actual physical dream, like from going to sleep dream, that the Lord had given me. So that interesting detail came up. Another interesting detail is, while we were courting and I was living already in Oregon, one of the things that I used to do before I even met my husband, okay, was I used to drive here past the apartment buildings that I told you about, and visit it and drive by and look and just kind of imagine living here. I was already doing that when I was still living in Las Vegas. And when I would look at pictures of the apartment, I would imagine living here. I would embody the feeling of looking out the window at the beautiful view, and just what it would be like living here. So when I moved here, sometimes I would drive by and just wave at my apartment and say, hi, house. I know, silly, right? But not. And so I remember one day, my husband and I went for a hike, and I said, hey, can we drive by? There's these apartments that I've been looking at, I've been wanting to live at one day, and I just always like to drive by. Can we drive by on our way back into town? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so he's like, where is it? And so I told him about it, started describing it. He's like, wait a minute. Is it those newer, modern looking builds, those modern builds? Okay, so we drove by and it was exactly the same ones that he loved. And he said, oh my gosh, I wanted to live at this apartment too. So I was like, no way, you're just copying. You're just saying that. And he's like, no, really, I do. So again, another thing that we were both pretty much in alignment with. So that was really cool. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how to get what you want faster. And again, those two stories were just so that I could tell you that it is true. It can happen that you can get what you want really quickly without you really even kind of trying. I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. So, number one is have a knowing. Okay, so what I mean by that is, it wasn't that I just believed that I was going to get married one day, or not that I believed that I was going to live in this place one day. I just knew. It went from my heart down to my gut. I just knew that one day, okay? So number one is to know it. And So that's number one. Know that you know that you know in your gut. Okay, number two is that you have to hold that vision in your mind's eye. And so what I mean by that is I'm very visual. So I would look at pictures of this apartment all the time. I'll look at it and imagine it, and I'll look at the view out the window that the pictures showed. I visited the location physically on more than one occasion. I would drive by, drive around, and just imagined being here. I would feel it, right? So I just hold that vision. Okay, so I always imagine myself being here. So that's as far as living here. Now, as far as my husband goes, I have to say I didn't really imagine what he would look like per se. I didn't have a face, but again, coming back to that knowing, I just knew for me that whoever my husband was going to be, he was going to be an amazing man. And how I knew that was because, you know what? I did my work to be an amazing woman. I'm not saying I'm a perfect woman, but I've done the things in my life to know that I know that I know that if I want an amazing person, I want to show up amazing for that person as well. And what that meant was if I want a healed, whole person who was going to be good to me and kind and thoughtful, that I was going to be that kind of person. So my life that I tried to live was as an amazing, thoughtful, kind human being. Okay, so that's number two, is holding in your mind's eye what that thing is. Okay, person, place, or thing. And in my case, it was a person and a place. More the place than the person, because there was no person in my life. Okay. Number three is feeling the emotion. So like I said, I practiced and felt the emotion of what it would like to feel in this place. Okay. And it felt good, and it felt homely. It felt like the place that I wanted to be at, that I wanted to wake up at every day and look out that window and see that view. And that's what I do every morning now. I open up my shades and I see this beautiful view that I've been looking at since 2020 of August. Okay, so I was already practicing the feelings and emotion of already being here. I was rehearsing those feelings already in the right here, right now, back in August of 2020. Okay, so I always kept holding on to those emotions. So when I would look at the pictures, I would feel those emotions of what it would be to live in this place. And so with my husband, I practiced the emotion of what it would be like to give love, to edify a man, to pour love into a man, to practice being generous with loving somebody, and also being able to receive love, being able to receive the kindness and thoughtfulness and love from a man. I could imagine and I felt the feelings of being loved and cared for and adored by a man. So I practiced embodying those feelings and would just feel those feelings. Okay, so sometimes I remember during lockdown 1.0, I would be laying in bed and going, okay, what does it feel like to be absolutely loved by a man? And you know who I practiced with? I practiced with God. And I would say, God, I know you love me in such a way. You love me wholly and completely. And when I say wholly, I mean like WHOLLY, wholly, right? And completely. And what would that feel like to be able to be loved like that from a man, a being on earth? Okay, so I know my earthly father loved me that way, and my heavenly father loved me that way. And so now I want to practice what that would feel like from a significant other, a future husband. So I practice embodying those feelings and also giving those emotions and feelings back. Okay. And the fourth thing I want to say is to keep living. Okay. So just keep doing the everyday thing, keep doing what there is to do in your life to do, and keep feeling and knowing and believing. And it goes even just beyond believing. So, number 4 tip is to just be confident in the vision and be confident that it will come to pass. It's none of your business when or how long it'll take to come to pass. And like I said, I believe that the things that I've shared with you today is what actually helped really fast forward that timeline for me or make it quick. But number 4, know and be confident in the vision. Okay? Just know that you can have what you dream about and desire, and you can have it faster than you think you can. Okay? I hope and pray that this message encourages you and maybe even inspires you and maybe even helps you to practice some of the things that I've shared with you. And I'm not saying that you're going to absolutely get what you want, but imagine having and living with the different feeling of excitement and of joy and of happiness of your future right here, right now. Okay, so I love you, friends. And again, this is Joan from An Innovative Life, helping you to live different. Love you, friends. See you soon. Hey, if you liked today's video, please like, subscribe, and share with other people. I would love and totally appreciate if you could do that. And I look forward to bringing you more topics that will help you to live different. Have a great day. See you again soon. Bye for now.